Hello everyone, how's it going? BigLT here. Welcome back to another food review. And apparently, we also have Jell-O's Girl Scout Thin Mint, which is pudding. Last time I did something with this, it was Pop-Tarts, which I will admit, the rating I gave during that video was a little lower than it should have been. And that's only because after eating a few more of those Pop-Tarts, I was actually tasting the mint a little bit more, but it was still just barely faint. So I rose, whatever the score was, just up by 2 points. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. I don't remember when. But yeah, it would have been 2 more points higher than what it probably would have been. But I wouldn't have gotten any higher than a 7. So... chocolate, obviously, chocolate pudding. So the mint part should be in here. That's a strong mint, holy crap. I love mint. Mint is one of my favorite flavors of any kind. If you ever remember going to a graduation party, or a wedding, one of the two. They have those little mints. Oh, those are the best. Those are so good. I can't remember if they're graduation mints or if they're wedding mints. I had them a lot growing up when I was a kid. I couldn't stop eating those things. I love those things so much. That's why I'm a big fan of mint in general. By the way, I am starting the mint candy, or no, I don't think it's candy. See, I told you I love those things. The cookies, I think they are. I think these are cookies. I don't know what they are. They're Girl Scout things. I know that, but I am stirring it into the pudding because I prefer doing that when I have those little like I used to have like, I don't know if it was Yo Crunch or something else, but they're like Oreo and Reese's, I think, and all these other stuff. I stir those in with the yogurt. Just like I do the same here, I'm stirring it in with the pudding. Because I'd rather have kind of similar to like chocolate chip cookie dough with like your ice cream. You know? Alright. Oh, I probably should have mentioned where I got this. My local grocery store. But it's possible you can find it at Walmart. I haven't seen it there, and I don't pay attention to that. I pay attention at Walmart. I just don't pay attention to that specific area of the store. I'm usually looking at chips, breakfast style, the snack cakes, and then chips, and everything else is kind of in between. Seasonal, that too. All right. I don't know if you can. Ooh, I don't want that to fall onto the ground. That would be pretty bad. You probably can't see it very well. Well, maybe you can. It just it focused in. So let's try it. I feel like they could have added more of these in there. And the little, the more of the cookie crumb thing. For some reason I turned my Xbox off. I don't know why I needed to. Whatever, I'll turn it back on later. Alright, I had to take a few bites because I wanted to make sure I wasn't screwing this up like last time. Strong chocolate flavor, my bad. Let me say that again. Strong chocolate flavor, not so strong with the mint part. And this is coming from a guy who loves his mint. I love mint, but it's not strong. I like strong mint. This, yeah, not strong enough. Smell it, you can smell it's the mint's just fine. You can't taste it hardly. Scotty would probably be like, that's because you eat a lot of spicy stuff. Well, not so much anymore. Speaking of spicy, I heard Cheetos has something new out at Walmart. I'll check that out as soon as I can. Actually, there's two things. It's the same flavor, but they're two different types of Cheetos products. And I haven't seen either or yet. And just so you guys are aware, I'll tell you what it is. One of them is a mac and cheese. It is cheddar barbecue. And the other one's the same thing. It's regular Cheetos. It's cheddar barbecue. Scotty, if you're watching, don't even bother with that one, though, because it says flaming hot on it. The bag of Cheetos, of cheddar barbecue, will say flaming hot, so I'm not asking him to do that. But the mac and cheese one is just straight up just regular old cheddar barbecue, so I don't think that has anything to do with flaming hot. But just be careful, Scotty, just in case. I know he doesn't like spicy. Also, I'm going to call his butt out about the Detective Pikachu thing. Yeah. So, why do I not like Detective Pikachu or the games? Well, here's the thing. I don't like the movie because the Pokemon look too hideous. I don't like the models they did for the Pokemon. It's the CGI made them look terrible. I get that they're supposed to be more real life looking. It just doesn't work, is my issue. Pokemon have done this before with their commercials, where you'll have, like, if they're like promoting a game, they'll have the animated Pokemon running next to a real person who might be having a journey of their own, whether it's through a realistic looking fictional Lumio City in Kalos, or maybe going out into some cave on the cliffside. I think there was something like that with that one. I don't remember if that was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire they were doing that with. But anyway, my point is the models were terrible. I don't like it. The game, on the other hand, I've seen gameplay footage of it, and I just didn't like it because it just doesn't feel like an actual Pokemon game. It doesn't feel like a Pokemon game that... How can I say this? Core mechanic wise, I get it. It's not a battling system. And like, if I look at some of the other like spin-offs, because we're going to look at spin-offs, not the core games. You get Pokemon Ranger, which is basically drawing circles. You know, it's just drawing circles. And you still catch Pokemon that way. That's like catching Pokemon with little the catching. I forgot what it's called. It's been forever, but you know what I'm talking about. And the Mystery Dungeon, it's got a little bit of the core mechanic. You're recruiting Pokemon in Mystery Dungeon for your team. You still have the battling. You still have the strengths and the weaknesses. Stories are amazing. Dungeons are randomized, so the layouts are always different no matter how many times you enter them. The Pokemon Snap franchise, you're capturing Pokemon by taking their photo. That's the best I can say with that one. So it's good. The only other weird one I could say is the Hey You Pikachu series. And I say series because they're not just Hey You Pikachu, there's also Pokemon Channel. I count them both as kind of the same concept. And that one actually has more trivia. With at least, okay. I've only played Pokemon Channel. I've not played Hey You Pikachu. I didn't own it. I was in the 90s. I had an N64. I love Pokemon. Actually, I didn't even get my first Pokemon game didn't come around until, well, actually, Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2, but legitimately it would have been Sapphire version, but no. I did play Pokemon Channel, and when you go up to a Pokemon with Pikachu, they ask you like a question. You answer the question correctly, you would get like a kind of like a little bit of a kind of like a trading card looking thing, where when you tilt it back and forth, you'll hear the Pokemon's cry at the same time if you tilt it fully back and forth. And then if you go back to them and answer them that same question again, they just give you Poke Coins that you could spend on the TV using the Squirtle Shop channel. It was called Shop and Squirtle, if I remember right. And then you can use those Poke Coins to like buy wallpaper, buy Poke Dolls, buy a new bed, buy a new TV, buy plushies, things like that. I'm sure there was other things too. Those are the only ones that come to my top of my head. And if you even want Pokemon coins without getting them from the Pokemon themselves, there's always like quiz channels. There's like the Wobbuffet one, and then there's like this odd one out one, where like you have to like you basically have to like guess how many Pokemon there are, or not guess how many Pokemon there are. You have to figure out if there's an odd number of Pokemon or an even number of Pokemon. If you guess correctly, you get to another round. You get your score. Your score of your money goes up more. But anyway, yeah. So Detective Pikachu, hate it because in the movie models look terrible, and the game just doesn't work. At least it shouldn't work. So the matter of fact that you say, "Oh, if you're a Pokemon fan, you gotta like everything that Pokemon throw out." Not exactly. I'm going to call his butt out on this one too. He watches WWE all the time. Or let's just say wrestling in general. Let's just say wrestling. He's a wrestling fan. You know, he doesn't watch AEW anymore. And I get why. You know, he doesn't watch AEW anymore. And if I had to just say, well, let's just classify WWE. He always, and no offense, guy, but I'm sure you'll understand where I'm going with this. He always complains about things that happen at pay-per-views, saying this person wasn't the right choice, or this match was too screwy, and all this other stuff. And I get that. Sometimes I get to the point where I feel like, you know, oh, Kairi Sane should win this championship, and she doesn't, you know. Especially when she was NXT Women's Champion one time, she makes her first defense against the former champion Shayna Baszler, and she already drops it immediately back to Shayna. And I was like, come on, seriously? I get that. And then after that, they just treated Kairi as nothing more than someone who was just chasing the tag team championship with Asuka. And I'll admit, Charlotte doesn't need to win any more championships. Let's be honest. Seth Rollins, kind of... I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Seth Rollins right now after WrestleMania. Like, really not a big fan of him. There's something about him that's been doing recently I just don't like. I've been hating it badly. Ugh. And the thing is, last week, I think it was last week. No, it was during the pay-per-view. I think it was during Saturday night's main event. He starts aligning himself alongside Bronson Reed, and I was like, why? I was confused about it. I was like, Bronson Reed doesn't need this. I'm not saying he's not a top star already. I'm just saying I don't see Bronson Reed being a candidate to be aligning himself with someone like Seth Rollins or even Ron Breakker. You know? I'm just looking at, like, compared to Bronson Reed's win-loss record, I don't think Bronson Reed's been that successful on the main roster at all, compared to someone like Ron Breakker or Seth Rollins. You know, that's where I was kind of going with that. But the thing about like I don't like Seth Rollins anymore because it's just he's saying he's making the company better, and it's like, dude, you're just trying to make the company just be all about you. I don't like it when they're like the spotlight has to be all on me. If you're not with me, then frickin' I'm going to give you an early retirement or some crap like that. It's like, come on, seriously, we don't need this crap. I don't like that. I don't like it when someone is just self-important, you know. And I say this because with him aligning himself with someone like Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed, it's like you're only using them to protect yourself. That's what I see. That's what I'm seeing in this thing with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. He looks at these two guys and he's thinking, okay, I can protect myself from people like CM Punk, Roman Reigns, you know, just to name a few. And then he can use them to get what he wants, which is the World Heavyweight title or even the WWE Championship. And it's like, dude, you don't need to keep winning titles every time. You're going to be like Charlotte Flair and people are going to start hating you because of that. Then again, look at John Cena. He finally wins the 17th world title and beat Ric Flair's record. But he's a heel right now, so I think that's fair game. I will give him that. And I think a lot of people also have been wanting him to win the 17th world title anyway, so they wanted Cena to break Flair's record. But when Charlotte Flair's in the mix, then it's like, nah, we don't like her. We don't like her. Because she always gets a title shot every time she comes back. Yeah, I get that. But my point is that Scotty will complain a lot of things that are happening in WWE during pay-per-views and everything when he does his reviews on the pay-per-views. And it's like, well, you hate these things, but if I have to like Detective Pikachu because, you know, oh, I'm a Pokemon fan, then he's got to like every little result that comes out of WWE, regardless if it makes him angry. It's a fair game. I don't have to like everything about Pokemon, just like he doesn't have to like everything that happens in WWE. You know? Similar to like how I like a lot of things about anime, and I'm learning a lot about these like voice actors and voice actresses, mainly the voice actresses because waifu potential. But I'm learning a lot about like these specific voice actors that play a certain character that I recognize, and I look at their other roles and I'm like, oh, they played this character too. And that was the thing. One of my more recent ones was watching an anime called I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years and Maxed Out My Level. Azusa. I heard her voice in the first episode. Took me about 10-15 minutes. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, and the reason why I did, same voice as March 7th from Honkai Star Rail. If I didn't play Honkai Star Rail and heard March 7th's voice and then go to this anime, I wouldn't have picked that up. But then again, there was like another weird one I heard recently. It was probably earlier today. Or actually, no, I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. I remember like some characters and everything, but I don't remember everything they played or what shocked me. Oh, that's right. Okay. It was the voice for Gantu. And then there was like another voice that apparently this guy did, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And then when I heard it, it's like, I shouldn't have caught that. And I never caught it, and it was one of those weird things that I just never picked up on. I never pick up on those. Like cartoons I watched when I was in school, and then I hear those voices again, it's like I don't pick those up anymore, and it never clicks with me. But when it comes to anime or even video games, that's when it picks up. That's when it picks up for me. Even when I listen to Christia V, when she played she does the voice for Shantae, but I think she also did something else, and that kind of caught me off guard too. That was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know she voiced that character. But anyway, yeah, 20 minutes and 30 seconds in, talking about certain things and not talking about the food. Sorry about that. You know what? Let's go with the rating. I'll give it a 7 out of 10, and that's a fair one. That's a fair one right there. It's good. It's okay. Actually, the reason why I'm giving it that high of a rating in the first place is because as I was talking about Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, WWE, and everything, I was taking these other bites. I was like, I'm starting to taste that mint now. It just takes a while. Yeah, 7 out of 10. I think it's fair rating. Like I said, I found this at my local grocery store, which was called Hy-Vee. Check your local grocery store if you're interested, or just check, I don't know, Walmart, Target. I don't know if Target's a national one though, but I think it is actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, check Walmart, check Target. I don't know any other place to check besides those two. Those two are like the biggest national brands that have a grocery store that everybody can go check out at the same time. It's like McDonald's. At least Walmart is the McDonald's, and Target is the Burger King. See what I did there? If you don't know your food history, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm going to leave it off here so I can get this video uploaded for tomorrow. I recorded this on a Monday evening. Normally I would be watching Monday Night Raw, but now I'm kind of like delaying it for the next day anyway to watch it then, because it's on Netflix and I live in America. If I watch it the next day, I don't have to put up with the freaking ads. I pay for Netflix with no ads. What do I get? Ads every time I watch Monday Night Raw. So why not just watch it the next day after I wake up, and then just put it on, and then I can just freaking watch it without the ads popping up. It's better that way than anything else. I kind of wish they do that in pay-per-views, but then again, those are all sponsored by the company anyway, so it's no big deal. Like that, what is it? The Cricket Wireless, and they sponsor 2 different mobile companies, and it's like, I don't know. I think you should pick one or the other. You know, T-Mobile or this other one. Not T-Mobile. Cricket Wireless and this other one I can't remember. But anyway, thanks so much for watching this food review. Of course, I've been BigLT, and I'll see you guys next time for another food review. You have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.